wish we were here planning conference finals. Obviously, we all collectively came short of our goals. I want to say thank you to Coach Rivers, someone I tremendously respect and have worked with for a long time. Like I said yesterday, first ballot Hall of Famer. Led us to advancing in the playoffs multiple times. Just really, us and one other team have even advanced in the playoffs the last couple of years. And look, winning's hard, and Coach Rivers was a great leader and someone I learned a lot from. I want to say thank you to the Philly fans. As they've learned, and when I walk around Center City where I live, they give me the business, and even in the last day, I was getting it. And you know what? That's why we love Philly. Obviously, I had many friends in the organization before I took this job, and I knew that was part of it. And I appreciate. Our home crowds are amazing. I wish we had delivered more, and we're going to do everything we can, myself, the players, ownership, to get this and get it that last step. And obviously we knew that was the mission, and we came short of it. So we're taking a careful process with the coach. We do not think it will move quickly. I know I have to be careful with the process word, but it is true. We're going to look at all the candidates. We're already very encouraged by the candidates that reached out. We have an MVP player. We have a great roster that lots of players want to play with. Lots of coaches want to be with. So we will look at that carefully. The players won't have a direct input in the coach. Obviously, who we have as players, I think, impacts, how, you want to look for a coach that is a fit with, how we want to play and the players we have. But the players won't have an input in that. Yeah, obviously it's the business we're in that, players and coaches too, they have to give these instant answers. I get the benefit of, a couple days between, the toughest situation, that the players have faced in a long time, and giving answers to you today. I think people make too much of those snap answers right after a loss like that. I think Doc had great relationships with his players. We wouldn't have had the success we had without it, and his relationship with both Joel and James was very strong. I think people saw that chemistry on the court between the three of them, and that was something that was not an issue. They had a strong relationship. I mean, I have to make tough calls all the time with trades. Joel was disappointed in, some of it was he didn't know the player we were getting in the trade who ended up helping us, but he was disappointed in the players that went out. I think it's natural to be very close with the people in the locker room. He was very close with Coach Rivers, and yeah, he was shocked about the change, and and it's my job to help convince him that the new coach is someone that he'll have a great relationship with as well. But I would say, there's been a lot of progress within that, in that, Maxey taking big steps forward, Joel progressing to the MVP. I think James Harden is better than the second best player we've had. This year we lost to a heck of a team than the Boston Celtics, who have a very good chance to go on to win the championship. So progress is there, in my opinion. And I promise you, next year, if we make the conference finals but fall short, Howard or others will be writing how we just have never made the finals. And look, our goal is to win the championship. It's not to make the second round or third round. So I would understand that as well. So Yeah, I mean, we have to plan for every scenario, right? And for sure, he has the option to be a free agent, and so we have to plan for all those scenarios. And we feel like that's a scenario we can continue to move forward. Look, we have to remember, like, there's like 26 teams that would rather have our roster. 'Cause we're starting with the MVP of the league, so. The draft lottery yesterday was hoping to get a top pick to hope that player becomes as good as the MVP of the league. So we start in a great spot, and yeah, we have a lot of free agents, so we're gonna lose some free agents. There's some key ones we'd like to bring back, but we feel good about the alternate scenarios as well. Scenario A would be to bring James back. Scenario B, if he's not back, we'll have to get creative, and we feel good about the tools available to us if that happens. And then Joel Embiid, like, as you've seen, I wouldn't bet against him improving again. He's done it every year since I've been here. He's done it, I believe, every year before I got here. I didn't track it as close, but he went from obviously not playing to playing, and his health is improving and his game's improving. And again, a lot of the conversation with Joel was just him immediately like, hey, I can do more. I can work on this. I'm watching the playoffs. I'm looking at this guy. I can add that to my game, and I wouldn't bet against him. Yeah, that was a big conversation with Joel. Again, led by Joel, to his credit, and working through like, hey, how can I make sure I can still get to my spots? How can I make sure that when they are trying to take this away, I have a counter, things like that. So, look, it's something that and I'll just put it on myself, we need to do a better job that during the season because the regular season can often be a Wednesday against a bad team, and Joel's so good he can just dominate a game without them doing a lot of keying. That's why I thought a lot of reps against, say, Toronto or Brooklyn this year were good, that they were guarding him with like heavy double teams and different looks. We want to try and make sure that we get him those similar kinds of like high intensity defensive looks during the regular season, and have that be something he's more comfortable in as we get into the playoffs. And so I think that's a big priority, to continue to give him rep after rep, and so he can work on it in the off season and during the season, so he's ready for the really, really focused defenses that he faces in the playoffs.